What's up, y'all? It's Harrington. Uh, I know I've been pretty ghost for like the last few weeks. Been doing a lot of stuff. Like I said, I don't mean to, be people asking where are the videos? Where's this one and third? Like I said, I gotta do a lot of things. I'm not just saying that just to say that. And number two, as y'all can probably see right now, I'm on the phone. I'm on my phone right now, and the reason why I'm on my phone is because the system that I usually do my podcast on, where I do my show on, every time when I try to record it on my laptop, the sound doesn't translate. So like it records, but like you can't really hear what I'm saying. And I just thought, okay, so I'm just gonna get frustrated constantly over and over. So I'm just not even gonna do it. I'm gonna just do what I was doing first time. Go back to the basics. Do straight from the phone. With the audio. Well, I was doing audio. Y'all get my point. But uh, I know y'all expect me to, get into the nitty gritty, but I just think I just want to do something real quick. Nothing too crazy, because like I said, I've been so preoccupied. I got a new laptop. My laptop is fine. Like I said, previously I used to have like shitty connection, but now I think it's working pretty fine. But which is stupid because if I record this right now, there's a possibility that because I'm using it on the app, but the app only allows you to record from a laptop, not with a phone. If that makes sense. It's a lot anyway. Um, I don't want to get too crazy. Hope y'all's last few weeks was good. Like I said, I'm dealing with a lot right now. Things I'm very busy. Got some personal projects that I'm doing. I hate making it look, too crazy, but I'm gonna just get it over with. Now, what I really want to talk about, which really kind of interests me, I was noticing that a lot of restaurants were shut down. Like Applebee's and all these restaurants. And the reason why, because a lot of people, they just a lot of people don't want to explore, like socialize anymore. Is what I realized. Now, I'll tell you about myself. Me personally, throughout the years, I've had different personality, different characters that I had. I remember being a kid, I was always I was always a very inquisitive person. I wanted to know everything. I wanted to figure out this. I wanted to figure out that was blah blah blah. Kind of chatty. Then around when middle school, high school came, when I first got my first glimpse of depression, um, started to be introverted or very closed off. But come to think about it, the more I started closing myself off intentionally. Now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with being private, keep it to yourself. But I think the reason why I was closed off was, one, because of my upbringing, and one, because of my upbringing, two, because I was scared to let people in, and three, because I didn't want to interact with nobody. And because of that, I don't think I was really growing per se. And I noticed, with this new generation, Gen Z. I mean, technically I'm a Gen Z, but I'm like an old Gen Z. Y'all already know. But it's like, you notice how, like, you go to the malls, right? You go to these shops, you go to these stores, you go to all these places, right? And I noticed that this is what people do all the time. This is what they do. No self-awareness, nothing. Just all over the place. And it's really annoying because some of these people vote, they pick those stores. Some of these people have kids, pets. Some of these people drive. Some of these people probably work in acts of service or hospitality. So if they're lack self-awareness in the real life, imagine if they're, a nurse or a teacher, you know, someone that works in the pharmacy, and like, what are they so preoccupied with their phone that they mix up? You know what I'm saying? What if they mix that up? And then, next thing happens, like, oh, what are you gonna say? You were on your phone? You was sending a text to somebody, and that's because you couldn't do your job? Like, I find it funny because it's very odd. And I'll ask this question one time. Has society become socially awkward? Why is it so weird for people to have normal conversation? Now, this doesn't apply to anybody. I'm not poking fun at nobody. I'm not saying that this affects every person. But just in reality, right? Why are people like so scared to talk? Like me personally, I represent, especially now, I would say, like when I was younger, I was probably like close. I say now because I'm exploring different things. I'm in like, I network a little bit. I do theater. I do this. Like I said, I self-describe myself as kind of ambivert. I'm like almost even keel. It's like my intro and extro is like wavering, but I think I may lean more into the introvert side. But I'm pretty even keel. But I find it interesting that nobody has conversations no more. Nobody knows how to have dialogue without. People don't even. This is I was talking to someone. Like a lot of times when people have conversations, they don't talk to listen. They talk because they want to either be heard or be right. Like nobody wants to hear different perspectives. Like I tell you all the time about the group I was in that I won't name drop. When I was in that group, I thought this was perfect for me because they were, getting into some deep topics that people would be afraid to talk about. I thought it would be like, locker room stuff. Maybe not locker room stuff, but some things that are be uncomfortable to mention. And the more I've gotten into the group, the more I've seen them grow. I noticed that they were kind of, I don't want to say more on the left because I'm either left or right. I just whatever side has take on some things. That's what I go for. I don't really. I know they say pick a side, but it's like everybody has different perspectives. I'm not just gonna pick a side just because you tell me to. That's just me. But like I said, nobody really knows how to have dialogues anymore. Like back in the days, people had real debates when they were really talking about problems, not this recycled crap that they push with these presidential debates where they've been saying the same thing for 200, 300 years. I'm not talking about that. I mean actual conversations where when you don't disagree with somebody, that doesn't mean you have to respect them or like them or love them less. And I think that's a major problem that's going on. And I find it funny because when it comes to social media, that's all it is. It's just who wants to be right first, because all the information is right on their fingertips. So it's not even about who wants to be. It's not about who wants to get to a solution or figure out, what the cause of this problem is. It's all about I want to be right at this moment, and you can't tell me nothing. Blah blah blah. And it's annoying if you think about it. Because it's annoying when you think about it because that's not how, I don't want to say how this country was made or whatever, but a lot of times that's countries that's how they was able to handle certain countries was able to handle certain disputes. They talk about it, agree, disagree. If you think you're accusing something, they hash it out. Go to the bar, light one. That's how problems are solved. Nowadays, everybody wants to be fight to be right, basically. But this social media cause all this. I wouldn't say social media cause it because here's why. Myself included and a friend of mine that I know, we met our significant others through dating apps. And sometimes dating apps always catch a lot of flack because people see it as meeting strangers on this foreign place. You don't really know who this person is. It's like, how you gonna meet somebody, some random person on the internet? Blah blah blah. They could be anybody. They can lie about whoever they are. They can tell you all kinds of stuff. You can't just meet random strangers at this place because you never know. They might set you up. Like, then I was thinking, okay, you go to this place with a bunch of random people that you don't know. Okay. You meet strangers, okay. Possibility some of them might be fabricating a lie. Computer about to die. Some of them may be fabricating a lie or something like that. I'm like, check, okay. And then there's a possibility that you're gonna expect sex, let's be honest. And that's pretty much that's like the whole dating pool, right? But then I have to think, isn't that the same thing that happens in clubs? Isn't that the same thing that happens in school? Isn't that the same thing that happens in church? So I really want to just understand, like, what do they mean when they say these things? Like, what do they mean when they say, you know, oh, it's not, you meet these people, or don't, like, no, like nobody, even, I used to think, me personally, I used to think, dang, I need to turn my laptop. I used to think it was bad when, the younger generation didn't want to interact and didn't want to, you know, interact, talk and do all this stuff. But now, as I get older, I'm seeing a lot of the Gen Xers, the latchkey kids, the ones that didn't have their parents around because they were working and they pretty much raised their own. And I think that's a major problem. People want to talk about gender. I said, why am I talking about gender? Generational wars, where you know everybody wants to talk about which generation is better, who did what. But it's like I always think that's just it's more examples of just not communicating. All this is just people just complaining about, oh, my generation is better because we didn't have this. But anytime we mention the negative, they always try to try to find a reason why it was like that. Even generations don't even know how to communicate. Like the Gen Xers, I always refer to Gen Xers as the rebellious ones because, like I said, with no parents, they don't know how to handle conflict resolution. Just in the workforce, it's hard to. I mean, I thought Boomers was bad, but the Gen Xers, they don't listen to nobody. Or if they do, they're just gonna you know, feel like they're inferior, things like that. Like, who does this person think he is trying to tell me that I need to, you know, do this job right? I'm older than them, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, if you don't know something and this person that may be younger but knows it more than you, why wouldn't you listen to them? I don't even care if you don't I mean, at least like get something from them. That's what I mean, the lack of communication. It's missing. I don't know what happened to where it became this thing where we don't know how to talk no more. We're afraid to open up to one another. We're afraid to just be transparent with one another without making everything a fight or flight response. And I think that generation is known for that. You know, if they hear something they don't like, they're ready to go all out. But if they're called, they're held in court about the stuff they did, they'll gaslight, they manipulate, things like that. But I don't even think it's because this is more than that. I mean, people say COVID could have been the cause of that, because before COVID happened, everybody was just, doing whatever. No, everybody was a straight up, just doing everything. What they weren't worried about health or worried about germs and all that until COVID came. Now everybody's a PhD, MD, PCP, whatever letters they could think of. All of a sudden, they knew exactly. They acted like they were the bigger doctors than the ones that actually got the education. But did COVID have a do with the lack of communication? I mean, we was in the house all the time. I think that's what it was. We was cooped up in the house all the time. You know, fear mongering, watching the news. Watching the news and just seeing what I think they gave us these numbers of like all the people that were dying, and I'm probably something's gonna happen with me if I say this. I don't think the COVID whatever. I don't think it was a lie, but I do think they juiced the numbers up to keep people at fear. Because most of the people that died from it was either very old or already had health problems. It's like what young person did you see die from COVID in mass numbers? You either see they either said they got it, they were sick for a little bit, then after nowhere, they're fine. Then when I was reading about the symptoms, I know I'm going off topic, but when I was reading about the symptoms, they were saying, "Oh well, these are the symptoms. What was it? Smell, lack of taste, high fever, fatigue, that." And it's like the flu-like symptoms is kind of like similar to the flu. Then I'm reading the sentence, I'm like, I had this shit when I was 12 years old. I'm like, what are y'all, why are y'all acting like it's like a flesh-eating virus or something, like on some cabin fever type shit? I'm like, that always really confused me, and I was frustrated that people didn't even get that. I'm like, flu-like symptoms? I've had that before. I've had flu-like symptoms. I always tell this. I remember when I was younger, I don't know if it was because I ate something or whatever. Whatever I had, I don't know if it was because of the weather. I remember I was feeling so sick. I mean, I was so sick to the point, I didn't even want to, I just wanted to rest. I was like, my body just felt like it didn't want to do anything. Right? Cause so come to find out, I had something that was like kind of similar to like the flu. Then I know my dad, he ran and got me some medicine that would help. I took that for 2 days and I was fine. I had like, I didn't want to eat. I don't think I could taste anything. I was like, so my mouth was dry, like a lot of stuff. But when I mention it to people, you know, all they want to say is, "Oh, you're being brainwashed. you're a Trump supporter, which didn't make any sense. But that's just how, out of the loop some of them were. Their arguments made no sense. It's like I said, they just wanted to argue to be right in a sense. But yeah, that's all I got from that. Like I said, I know y'all probably seeing me on here like, oh, when we gonna get? I'm gonna bring y'all more stuff. I just gotta figure out what I gotta do here. Until then, I might go back to doing audio. I'm not sure. I might put it in like the post. Let me if I need to go back to doing audio stuff because certain people kind of like me speaking rather than seeing my face. But let me know what y'all think. But until then.